ladies, gentlemen, everything in between. Welcome back to another episode of Midnight Oil Motorsports. My name is Ian and thanks for stopping by. Whether you're a first-time viewer or a long-time viewer, I appreciate your continued support. Right over here, we have my beautiful 1991 Mazda Miata I've poured a whole bunch of blood, sweat, and tears into over the past year. Now, there's not much more left to do, thankfully, but one of the hurdles we gotta get out of the way here is the PCV system. So we're going over what the heck a PCV system is, why the one I have on here kind of works, and how we can improve on it. So let's just get right into it. So what the actual heck is the PCV system? Well, let me break it down for you. So anyways, maybe not break it down that way. PCV, we'll start there. What does it even stand for? People craving vitamins. Maybe, I don't think so. Pigs carving vegetables. Maybe not. Oh, I got it. Positive crankcase ventilation. Pretty sure that makes more sense. So PCV, we know what it stands for. What actually does it do? So what it does is remove fumes and vapors from an engine's crankcase to prevent pressure buildup and harmful emissions, right? That's straight from DuckDuckGo. Thank you. So stock, I'll throw that up on screen right now because it's a little confusing, but what's gonna happen is it's gonna go from, take filtered air from the intake into this breather port on the driver's side of the valve cover. It's gonna filter out all of the harmful gases and whatnot that get caught underneath the valve cover. And our vacuum, this PCV valve is gonna open and go right in the intake, okay? So from there, then those harmful oily gases go into the motor, out the tailpipe, and get caught by the catalytic converter, and it's better for the environment. Now, the reason why it's kind of bad in a performance vehicle is because those oily vapors can gunk things up, it can clog things up, maybe not make your valve sieve properly, and all in all, not really great. But for an OEM application and with emissions and everything, it makes sense, right? So instead, what I did was I ended up taking this breather port and going right into the catch can that I made over here, as well as took this PCV valve and drilled this out, so there's no check ball in here anymore. Went also to this catch can, which then goes out of the breather port, okay? So what does that do, right? So if there's any positive crankcase pressure underneath here, it's got two breathers to go out, okay? Now it's not actually scavenging those gases because there's no vacuum ever being applied to the intake, or the valve cover, I'm sorry, being applied by the intake, okay? So how can we improve on this? What we need to do is go from a non-boosted intake source. So anywhere in front of the turbocharger, go to a catch can, and then go to the breather. Now why do we do that? Because in case there's any pressure that comes out, and oily vapors and whatnot, it can still be filtered, okay? So we go from intake to catch can to breather port. Magical shizzle whiz happens underneath the valve cover. We go to a upgraded PCV valve, which has metal internals and doesn't risk blowing it out under boost. Then go to another catch can, which is where most of that oily vapor will be caught, and then go straight in the intake, right? Because we don't want that pressure, or not that pressure, but that oily vapor to go into our motor, because otherwise it's gonna create gunk, right? So this is just to help keep things clean, keep things tidy, and also for my own peace of mind. So let's get right into it and I guess check out the catch can. So let's take a look at a few things here. First off, got the barb fitting I'm gonna need to go to the pipe on the intake and then to the first catch can, right? Then in here, we've got the upgraded PCV valve, right? Now the outside is plastic, the inside is metal. OEM part number is right here, maybe, I don't know. And yeah, super nice. You actually see the metal valve in there. You can hear it. Maybe, I don't know. So we gotta replace that valve. Then we went to good old Jeff Bezos and asked him and said, Jeff Bezos Motorsports, what do you suggest? Because every single one I've seen from Mishimoto and everything else, they all perform the same, right? And what this is from Evil Energy, okay? This is really just a knockoff of the Mishimoto design. And then we got the catch can, right? So the catch can, all it is, pretty much, we open it up here. Sorry for the noise. If we look inside, right, it's got an in, it's got an out. The in has baffles in it. And then what goes in the bottom of the catch can in the bowl is this. This is just pretty much steel wool, right? That ends up catching all the oil and whatnot, goes out the out port, and you get clean air out, okay? Not that hard. This also has a nice dipstick that you can just unscrew up here to check your level and everything. It's pretty nice. So it's actually a pretty nice design. The threads feel good, everything else. Even comes with knurled, or not knurled, but I guess bottom to grab your hands onto. And yeah, it's decent and will perform exactly how I want it to. So let's get on the car, I guess. So hopefully this should be pretty quick here. And obviously this is just a, you know, press fit in here. You can take it, wiggle it out a little bit. Okay, there it goes, comes out. Big side on the back, skinny side out the valve cover, right? Just as easy as it went in. There it goes, real easy. My infinite wisdom here of being 16, 17, I made this out of a Jägermeister flask. Now why did I do that? I thought it was funny. I still think it's a little funny. A lot of my friends are actually pretty sad to see this thing go, but it will live on in my basement, and it will be a homage to all of the idiocy that I've done. So we're gonna take this out here, all the pipes, and by pipes I mean hoses, all right, and we're good. So under a little deliberation here, I found out this bracket that comes with it is going to be way too far down, right? It'll end up connecting either here or here. Kind of seems a little silly. So what I'm going to end up doing here is taking this bracket, right, that comes on the back of this, and if I hog out this top hole a little bit, then I should have enough room that with the bottom of the can off, I can actually slide a bolt in here and tighten it down. So we're going to try that and see how it goes. Okay, so now you can see here, got that hole hogged out, right? So we can slide this bolt down. Now I can actually fit an Allen key right on here, okay? Now I can bolt this to the firewall straight from this bracket. Still get the catch can and everything on and off. It's gonna be great. It's gonna look pretty good too. Okay, we got the most important part of the catch can solid mounted on there, right? It's a little annoying to get it on and off, but realistically, how often are you taking the catch can off the firewall, right? So obviously you can see, very easily able to screw this on. very, very easy to screw this on. All right, there we go. Okay, so next step, since we got this all on here now, take some pipe dope here. I don't know if it's actually needed, but I'm going to assume that I do need it. And we're going to take and apply it to our fittings here. Okay, nothing too crazy difficult here. Put it all over our threads. Lightly thread it in. Do the next one. There we go, that's better. That shouldn't spew out a whole bunch now. That'll be good. And that'll be good. Great. So what's next here? We got an in port on the left side and an out port on the right side. The in, as I said before when I was making the explanation, the air goes from the valve cover out the PCV. So when it comes out the PCV, we're gonna go in the catch can, then out the catch can, into the intake. Pretty simple. Let's do it. Okay, that's it, right? That's the one side done. Pretty easy. Routed it how I thought it looked the best, but of course, you know, there's only so much you can do. You're adding more hoses. So, out of the valve cover, in to the catch can, right? Then out of the catch can, into the intake, okay? Simple. Okay, so unfortunately, I did figure out a problem when I was putting this all together, right? So I can very easily mount a catch can right here, okay? Still be able to drain it and everything. It'd be okay, right? Two problems. One, I'm out of hose. I had to raid the other kit because they do not give you a lot of hose, is what it is. The second, I don't have a lot of metal in this intake, and that's because, well, my space was kind of restrained with this eBay turbo manifold I've got. Again, just at the time, it's what I could use. So what I could afford, so that's what I got. I'm doing with it. So I can't really tap this. Kind of sucks. So what's the solution here? If I need this to breathe air, and it's got to be filtered, what should I do? Well, pretty easy solution here. That's a filter, right? Well, not exactly what I wanted to do, but it's going to do the job. Got to put a hose clamp on there, but you get the gist of it. So, I guess that's about as far as I can get right now. Now the other side, is it getting the freshest air it can? No, but it's gonna get the job done. This side is really the more important side. So honestly, for anybody with like a basic turbo Miata like this, which makes like 200 to 250, this setup is perfectly fine. This will work, this will run, and it will do the job it needs to do. Now, it's actually good that I'm not doing that side right now, because if I'm getting a lot of blow-by, which is that oily vapor I was talking about at the beginning of the video, it can mean two things. One, PCV valve I just installed not working. That'd kind of bite, but it is what it is. Or two, there's something seriously wrong with the motor. Whether the rings are bad, or bad valve seals, or bad valve, the what am I thinking of? Where the valve sits. Valve seat. We'll see what happens though. With the amount of blow-by I was getting before, which really wasn't much, surprisingly, for a 225,000 mile motor, I'm not really too worried. But the car's been sitting for a while, we'll see what happens. So I think it's finally time to close out this video. So, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you really liked the video, consider subscribing. I appreciate each and every one of you that do. And we just passed 69 subscribers. It's all because of you guys. Nice. If you're curious how the car got to this point and you're not subscribed, well, I got a whole playlist. Go take a look at it. It's been a fun build so far. Get out there, work on your cars, whether it's by yourself, with a friend, doesn't matter. Your car's not going to work unless you work on it. Pretty simple, right? Go burn that midnight oil. Have a great night, evening, whatever time it is around you. Just make sure it's great. Later, everyone.